everyone. It's time for
Leia Sha. I don't know what we're calling this.
I don't know
but
either.
we're still giving out advice and answering questions about couples and relationships, marriage, singles, doubles, whatever. Yeah, so one of the questions that we had gotten actually a few weeks ago, and we said, you know what, let's address it week to week with different ones. And this one was, what are three key things that a boyfriend, girlfriend, couple, husband, wife must have in order to have a happy, long, lasting relationship? And the more we kept thinking about it, three, I don't know if we can keep it down to three. Relationships are complicated, so being able to have a few more areas to focus on may make it a little more easier, palatable, at least. So we didn't want to just say, well, just three, and if you have these three, it's going to work out perfectly. Nothing ever just works out exactly the way you want it, but we felt this was a good opportunity to address some really good topics in which we've all have different perspectives on, but are key to a long-lasting relationship. So first one
is communication. The basis of communication the basis of communication is TNH, which is trust and honesty, and being able to have awkward and uncomfortable conversations. So you need the honesty first. That's the basis of communication. You need to be open with each other, be able to let someone know what's going on, and then that builds the trust. After is really having those awkward, uncomfortable conversations. Like, it could be anything like, well, a fetish. Yeah. And uncomfortable conversation could be something around politics that you're really not, you don't know what your views are or how you feel. Religion is another conversation you need to bring up and have, and just different discussions along the way.
So you want to make sure as well that even in these awkward conversations, sometimes you're not going to agree, okay? And that's very important with communication, because if we all live in this type of bubble that we always agree on every single aspect, the relationship can become stale and complacent, a little mundane. So you want to make sure that if you can talk about anything and everything. There are going to be some topics that one may feel uncomfortable about, where the others more confident about, but you don't get a better understanding for something without understanding different points of view, perspectives, for better competence, because competence breeds confidence. And if you can have that collective in your relationship, that's where you can grow with it. All right. So in communication, be honest. Be with yourself. It's important to tell what you want. It's extremely important to know and to express what you don't want. Okay, and that could be in the bedroom, that could be at dinner, that could be amongst people, amongst family, whatever the case may be. So you have to be able to communicate every aspect about the relationship. Second part,
humor. So you need to have a sense of humor when it comes to a relationship, whether that is pulling small pranks on each other, being able to laugh at each other without being disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing, because yes, humor is great and you can be able to laugh at each other's shortcomings, but then there is a fine line when actually going over the line and just being mentally abusive.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like insulting one's intelligence.
Right.
That's calling out their name.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's humor like that that's just taking it too far. But you know, playful humor once in a while, joking on them. You know, like when he doesn't cut his hair.
Listen. I got a LeBron thing going on right now, and my hair is like, I said if I ever start balding, I would just accept it and just cut it. So, you know, that's just the way it is. But she teases me about it, you know. But, you know, you have to have that humor. One of the things that's extremely funny to my family is when I like to dance. Like, I randomly dance in the kitchen, cooking, cleaning, whatever, and I dance. And, you know, I used to go to parties when I was little. My mom used to always take me out and go to birthday parties. And I'm dancing. I used to turn up, no problem. But I was always around my mother, so I learned how to dance kind of like my mom. So, you know, you throw on some Luke, you know, and you know, I want to rock, and I'm going to tear up, you know. So I dance like I got a big old butt. And they always tease me because I got nothing. Like, I if it wasn't for belts, I'd never be able to wear pants. I'll tell you that. So, like, be able to laugh at yourself and be able to be open like that, but having that kind of humor without, of course, being disrespectful. But there's a lot of truth in comedy, you know, so when you tell a joke or anything like that, you're really talking about, you know, your own views, you know, and it may not be funny. You know, it might really catch somebody and it's like, you know what, you know, you thought that was funny, but I didn't. That goes back to the communication. But I believe in every relationship, every marriage, every, you know, even, you know, friendships. When you're with that other individual, you should at least have one good laugh. One good laugh. And I don't mean that, yeah, that was cool. I mean that hearty, you know, deep laugh. The one where, you know, you can make, you know, your significant other laugh and they snort, like, you know, in that kind of laugh. Like, you want to be able to, you know, get down to the root. That feel good, that vibe, that love, that laughter, there's nothing, you know, more attracting. You know, you'll want to spend more time with the individual to experience that even more. All right, so we got communication, we got, you know, humor, you know, making sure that you laugh. What's the third thing?
Open to growth. So you're open to the different perspectives that each of you have. Spending time in your significant other's passions, and knowing that you will not always agree but understand each other's point of view. That's opening to growth. Like we said before, just taking an interest in what your significant other is passionate about. He may want to go on an expedition somewhere, you know, and
to Brownsville.
and you may not be open to that, or may have not even thought about it.
She's from Harlem.
But you know what? you see that they're very passionate about it, and you kind of want to support that. I wasn't very passionate about sports growing up. My parents very heavy in all types of sports, and I kind of rebelled against it, didn't want to have anything to do with it. But then when I met him, I was like, well, he's interested in this, he's passionate about basketball, so you know what, let me learn a little something. And now we play video games, we have like competitions during football season, the fantasy, the draft.
Still undefeated.
So yeah, it's something like that. Excuse me.
Yeah. But I'll continue. She had to take a call. But yeah, when it comes down to open to growth, especially in areas of, like, my wife had me out and I'll tell you about it. She had me out playing in the trees. We was upstate New York somewhere and playing in like it was like Boundless Adventures. So we're rock climbing and doing obstacle courses and jumping off of platforms and whatnot with a rope connected to us. Now, I'm from Brooklyn. I don't do this kind of thing, okay? I like a little adventure, you know, a little excitement, you know, but going through the hood every day was pretty much all the excitement I needed. So to go out to an adventure was different for me. But I had to be open that it was an expression and a passion that she had. So I went out. We had a great time. Came back sore, uh, fell out. I mean, I was completely exhausted. When you're doing these obstacle courses, 35, 45 feet in the air, it's nothing like it. The good thing about it, after that, we ended up going to a competition where Leia was doing a rock climb or a wall climbing competition out in Queens. She had never been into a competition like that. I had never experienced anything like that in wall climbing. You see it, on TV or memes or different things like that, but she was actually in it. And I had to be there to root her on, and it was a great experience, so much so that it inspired me to then start working out and get myself, in shape to possibly do the next competition, to even furthermore support her as well. And I had a great time, just seeing her excel and really push herself, challenge herself. And it made me ask myself, how am I challenging myself? What am I challenging, myself to do next? Mentally, read books and everything else, and that's great. But like physically, what could I do? And I recently, I think on Friday, I had posted the results of my training, me just in my house, calisthenics, push-ups, sit-ups, just light workouts and things like that. And I have a different kind of struggle. I wasn't trying to lose weight, I'm trying to gain weight. And I've gone from 134 pounds to 149. This is the heaviest I've ever been. And I've actually, hit many of my goals physically. I look good, I feel good, I have more energy for Leia, for my children as well. So if it wasn't for her pushing her passion and me supporting her, I may have never even, noticed the growth that I needed to have within myself. So I think it's important to definitely want to, step into the different passions of your significant other, because it'll open up more doors for you, and then it becomes more memories and moments for you to share. All right. I know we said 3, but we can't do 3 when it comes to couples and relationships. So I have to, add a few more of these areas. One of the areas that's important in a relationship to keep it long lasting, keep it happy, is to understand your levels of compromise. All right. Forever is a long time, but that's what commitment is. Okay. But it makes it easier when you're able to compromise on certain things. In some situations, you may be extremely dominant in that area. The other one might be more passive or submissive. And it's not that they have to be, but they're willing to. And I believe on our last video, we talked about, even though you can, be submissive and passive in some areas, try not to lose your own identity. So continue to look at your passions and moving forward. But yeah, you want to compromise in some areas. The age-old question of our generation is, what do you want to eat? So try it. Try different things. But if a person realizes, all right, I know what they like, this is what I know what they don't like, try to meet somewhere in the middle. You might have a taste for something, offer it. And that goes back to communication, being open, because everybody just saying, I don't know. That's the first step of knowledge. So you now opened your mind to now know or learn something. So do it, go for it. You know what I mean? And cook something, stay in, try a new restaurant. I'm big on sushi, so is Leia. So we try different restaurants around the city when we get a chance. And when we don't have the kids, it's like, all right, we got a couple of hours to ourselves. Let's go out there. And we got to come up with a quick compromise, because, we got to go pick up the kids later or whatever the case may be. We're on borrowed time, because as soon as, got to pick up the kids, you got to pick up the kids, and then that's it. So we do a lot of cooking indoors so we can spend that time together. But then we try different things, and that's just one aspect. It could be a compromise on, what show you're watching, or who's paying for the Netflix account, or whatever the case may be. Like, you just keep being, open-minded in those areas. So that way, it makes it easier as you go along in a relationship. A big component, be present in your relationship. Okay? It's very easy to step out of the relationship, and I don't mean to be with anyone else. I mean just to check out. Okay? And that's you just not giving the time and attention to your significant other. Be present. Stop thinking of excuses to not be present. Okay? If you had to call them in 10 minutes, call them. You had to, text them or meet them somewhere. Be present. And that's not just for couples and relationships. That's for every walk of life. Every single walk of life. Be present. That's the effort. Your children, be present. That's 90% of the job is being a parent. Keeping them alive is the other 10%. But the other 90% is just being present. Because you never know what they're watching. Okay, you never know what they're observing when they see you as a parent or as an adult or another child seeing you. My mom is a great example of people just seeing her as like Big Mom. Like she's like the mom to everybody. And she'll be out, she'll be in the street or on the train, and other kids watch what she does. And it's weird. It's like, my mom reads a lot, so they'll mimic her or whatever the case may be. And the mom will be like, what are you doing? I'm copying this lady because she's focused. She's doing something. She has that motherly nature, which is great. But she was always like that, with us. She was always present, okay? And when she couldn't be, she called. We have all this technology. We have, our FaceTimes, we have our texts, we have our groups, we have, one-on-one engagement, just being in front of somebody face to face. You know what I mean? Going to events, parties, powwows, having, game nights or whatever the case. Make those things important and just be present. Show up, all right? That's half the battle, okay? Don't rush it, okay? Your relationships, your marriage, don't rush this whole process. Love is something that can be defined, yet it can't be explained. Okay, and you're the explanation. So you go along with every aspect in the relationship, touching on the things you like, the things you don't like, setting your pillars, your compromises, and seeing where where that can get you. Okay, continuously creating moments. All right, but don't rush the process and say, well, we got to do this, and the third, just to feel like we're together. No, don't rush it. Be with the individuals. See what they're about, be present, be in the moment, create the memory, reflect on it, discuss it, all right? Touch on the areas that you didn't want to express, touch on the areas that you didn't necessarily want to, she's back, touch on the areas that you didn't necessarily want to discuss. We end up having conversations and pillow talk. We talk to you guys about the 15 minutes. We spend at least 15 minutes a day where it's just her and I. And we just talk about anything and everything that's on our mind. And a lot of times, we're talking about things that already occurred, things that happened, things that we spoke about, things that we, experienced. And we do that just to see, there might be something underlying that we didn't mention. There might be something that we were feeling that we didn't have time to talk about during the moment, and we can talk about now. And that allows us to continuously on these other areas of communication. A lot of it becomes funny. We laugh a lot.
And usually it's at least 15 minutes, but we want us talking for like an hour. We go through our day, how we felt, what went on during the time that we were at work, and we discuss, we debrief with each other. We talk about, this crazy thing that happened, or this and this co-worker, or
I told you she was crazy.
or what's going on in current events. We talk about that as well between each other, how we feel. We bring up crazy stories of our past. It all just connects and just goes on, and we wind up speaking for hours. So
talk about what we saw on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, memes, different things, just
anything and everything.
Anything and everything we talk about. Yeah, literally everything.
Yeah. Did you go there?
Yeah, I went through
Yeah.
We just got one more, and this is important. You can take this with you. Don't compare yourself to other relationships and marriages. Okay, you can see some of the areas of what they've gone through, but when you compare exactly tit for tat, they'll never match up. It's like the example I always give, that everybody has a thumb, and we all have a thumbprint. Okay, and it's unique. No one person on the planet has the same thumbprint as you. That's just like your relationship. No one relationship is the same as everyone else's. We have areas where we, are connected and we agree, and they're the same type of pillars in your relationship as with ours and Jay-Z and Beyonce's and whoever else. we have those elements, but no one is exactly the same. So keep yours as unique as it is, because you're two special people, okay? And you want to keep that. You want to keep that special uniqueness, okay, that you have, and grow that, you know, day in and day out with the different moments that you have. But by comparing it to anyone else, you know, you can look up to other couples, you can aspire to be, you can, you know, look up to, you know, the examples that they said, but whenever you're looking at an example, you look at the things that work for you, and then it recognizes the things that don't, and you discard those things. And that's how you build on your relationship to grow into something that, you know, is better for the both of you. And if it's something that, you know, you want to adopt or bring into the relationship, the best way to do that is to discuss it. It might be a little awkward, okay? It might be a little uncomfortable. Sometimes we got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, you know. We caught early in our relationship, well, not even early in our relationship, about midway. I don't like ultimatums at all, right? And I was given an ultimatum at this time, and she didn't know how I was gonna react, you know. And fortunately, it worked out, you know. I wasn't in a rebellious mood, and I saw that she put her foot down for what she was really adamant about. And I said, you know what, there's the compromise, I agree. And though it was uncomfortable, you know, it was nerve-wracking, neither one of us knew what was going to happen next. You know, it made us better for our relationship, and then as people, you know, in moving forward. And that compromise is her life, my life, and we bring those elements together, okay, and see what works. And thus far, married, 15 years, and dealing with each other, and here we are. So I told you we're not going to keep these videos very long. Wanted to get straight to the point. So thank you again, everyone, for all the support, all our previous videos as well. We actually started our website called Kellum Unlimited. So that's our last name, KELLUM Unlimited.com. And you can go onto the site and you can watch these videos, the previous ones that we did as well. So we appreciate all the support and the views. Next week we'll be touching on another topic. I believe we're doing sex before marriage.
That's gonna be fun.
That's gonna be a lot of fun. So we're gonna touch on that topic. But if you have any other questions or inquiries, definitely, you know, inbox us or or send them to in the comment box. We write them down, we discuss them, and hopefully have enough, you know, information and experience to be able to give to you to help you in your lives as well. So thank you again for tuning in. This is Leia Sha. Appreciate your time.
Bye, guys.